Good morning, everybody. It's Avalon with ya. It's Saturday morning, and I don't normally do a video on weekends, but I had something on my mind, and I thought I would pop on and talk to you guys about it. Before I forget, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and okay, let's dig in. You know, when I first came into recovery, I didn't know anything about recovery. Like, my mind was completely just fucked. And I was selfish, self-centered. It was all about me. Now, if somebody would have said to me, Avalon, you are selfish, I would have been like, I am the most giving, loving person ever. Because I used to donate stuff to the Goodwill and things like that. I used to help people with food if they didn't have it. I would give a person the shirt off my back. That's a different kind of thing than selfishness and self-centeredness as far as my addiction goes, as far as me goes. That was an outward expression. Yes, I gave. But on the other hand, everything that I did for me. Like, when I gave, it was like, oh, look how giving you are, Avalon. Look how unselfish you are, Avalon. See? You know, look, everybody, how wonderful Avalon is. I didn't realize that at the time. Of course not. But that's what it was. And everything that I did had an ends to, means to an end. Like, if I became friends with you, it was for what I could get from you. There's always an agenda. I would end up stealing from you. I would end up telling you a bullshit story about how I needed money for this or that. Or it was because you had pain meds, or you had whatever that I could get from you. And like I said, it's not something that I realized until after I was in recovery. And I looked back and I was like, holy shit. Addiction just causes us to be such narcissists. It's all about us. Me, 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 me. And the thing is that, you know, you can't walk up to somebody and say, look at you, you're so damn selfish, because they're not going to see it, especially in addiction. But even in recovery, it's hard for people to look at themselves. It's hard for people to look and see their faults and see their character defects and say, yes, I am full of selfishness and self-centeredness. And so each day, life is going to bring about things that are going to cause us to either think of others or think of ourselves. It's very hard for me. I'm going to let you in on a little secret about Avalon. It's hard for me to apologize to Bernie. If I get short with him, if I, have an attitude, or, I've made a mistake somehow and accused him of something, it's very difficult for me to say I'm sorry. It was my fault. I can do that to other people for some reason better than I can to him, because it causes a pride thing in me. It causes a selfish thing in me. And it's hard to fix those things if you can't look at them in yourself. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. That's what Dr. Phil says, and I believe it. I acknowledge the fact that I am selfishness and self-centered run riot. And since I know that I every day need to work on that character defect. And that's what recovery is about. It's about finding those things in ourselves, being willing to look at them and willing to do whatever it takes to change them. Coming out of ourselves, recognizing that we are selfish, recognizing that we are prideful, recognizing that it's hard for us to admit our faults, and fighting to change that in us. And so, look at yourself today. Don't be afraid to look at, because here's the thing. I was taught in my family that we preyed upon weakness. It was an abusive family, and weaknesses were that we ate our own young, basically. Your weaknesses became jokes in front of others. It became taunting and bullying. And so when a fault or a character defect was brought out, it was brought out to demean and tear down the other person. And so for me to grow up and then have to look at character defects, I took it as, that means I'm a horrible person. Look at that in me. That means I'm horrible. And so I could not look at any of my faults because it caused me to hate myself. But we are human beings. And as human beings, we are all full of faults. And our job on this planet is to evolve and to evolve into higher beings, nicer beings, kinder beings, loving beings. And until we can look at ourselves and deal with those things, we can't become those things. We can't become loving. We can't become giving. We can't become compassionate and understanding. We can't ascend to higher planes. And so don't be afraid to look at who you are, what makes you you, and to confront those things in yourself. It's because it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're hopeless, that you're despicable or just disgusting. It means you're human. We all are. So I hope you guys are having a good Saturday morning. It is very cold here. Woke up this morning, it was -2 degrees. And so I'm enjoying my cozy cave, and very grateful and thankful for what I have this morning. Very grateful and thankful that I'm not homeless, that I'm not out in this cold, that I have a warm, loving place to be, and a man who loves me, who challenges me to be better than I am today, that tomorrow I can be a better person. And I want to treat him like that. I don't want to be a selfish bitch who can't admit her faults. And so be grateful for what you have today. Brightest blessings, and God is blessed.